You're listening to Metal Thunder Radio interviews. If you like what you hear, you can listen to the full shows by going to our website, www.metalthunderradio.com. We got tons of great music, videos, merchandise, and more. You can also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/metalthunderradio. You can send us a message, submit your music for airplay, or just stop by and say hi. Either way, hope to hear from you soon.
Yes, who do we have tonight, Brian?
We have Mr. Phillip Sandoval from Armored Saint. Welcome, Phillip.
What's up, Phil?
Hello, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Listen, thanks so much for coming on, joining us tonight, taking the time out to talk to us and everything. Sounds like you guys got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of plans coming up for 2015.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do. Metal Thunder Radio. We have a lot of things going on. We have Armored Saints gigs galore. On May 12th, we're going to be at New York, BB King's.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Yes.
Yes. May 13th, Worcester, the Palladium. And then all these gigs are going to be with Saxon.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, May 23rd, San Antonio, 210 Capone Live. May 24th, Dallas, Texas, Gas Monkey. May 29th, San Jose, Rock Bar. May 30th, LA, House of Blues.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yes, and then we have a couple of festivals. We're doing one German. German. Yeah, we're going to start speaking in German. Vielleicht nicht Heitmann, bitte. But actually, we're doing Hellfest. The main stage with Judas Priest, Alice Cooper, Motorhead, Slipknot. That's June 19th
Nice.
in France.
Nice gig.
Nice. That's a
Wow,
good lineup.
that's
That's a
pretty
good
awesome.
solid lineup.
Yeah, that's a sick gig.
So
Yeah,
this is-
that
so-
is a sick gig.
So
We're
the whole
also
thing is
doing,
it's kicking off in New York then on the on May 12th, and that's the start of that tour that you're doing with Saxon.
yes, it is May 12th.
Awesome.
And this is
Yeah.
all.
Also, excuse me for interrupting, but also the album, the new album that's coming out. It's called Win Hands Down. It comes out June 2nd.
That's what we were just going to ask you.
I was just going
Yep.
to say all of this. The touring comes pre-album release.
Yep.
So obviously, when the album comes out, I'm sure you're going to go on a huge tour to support that.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
what's the plan with tours for that album?
Okay. We have in Germany. We have July 30th. A huge festival called the Wacken Festival, and that's with Rob Zombie, Black Label Society, and a band called Mushroom Head.
Oh, Mushroom Head. I know.
Oh, yeah,
that.
we heard.
right.
Sure.
So that's huge, man. That's like I think like
that's-
200,000 people
That's a
come
lot
to
of-
that one,
lot
man.
of people go to that.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be one metal festival. Yes, they should have called that one the Hellfest.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Serious.
Right, and then we have we're playing with Queensryche. We're doing like 3 shows with Queensryche and Death Angel. So it's Armored Saint, Queensryche, and Death Angel.
Wow.
Wow.
And this is gonna be in Amsterdam on August the 3rd. August 4th, we're doing Eindhoven, and August the 6th, we're doing the Electric Ballroom in London.
Oh, that's sweet. You guys got solid plans, man,
Yeah,
lined
wow.
up straight through the summer. That is great.
That's one hell of a great 2015.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and also after that, we're doing a festival called the Alcatraz Festival in Belgium, and we're doing that with Accept, Behemoth, and Carcass.
Oh, sweet. Sweet. So now the album, when you guys went in to do this album, what was kind of the mindset for it? Did you guys have like in terms of writing style, or you just said, you know what, let's just go in there, write what we feel? Like what was the whole vibe going in to do this album?
John told Joey, no limitations. Let's
Okay.
just go in. Like, let's say we were had $1 million
Right.
to spend, and then no limitations. Let's just go for it. And I have to tell you that the new album has some of our best playing. The lyrics are up to date. There's even a reference to Facebook, and they're very and there's they're just current. It's stuff that's going on now. You know, Armorton really wasn't one of those bands that talked about getting laid in the back of a Chevy and
Yeah.
going to 7-Eleven sucking on chili dogs. But we were a little more, we're not trying to be clever clever, more clever than anybody else, but there was some sort of like depth to our lyrics. John
Right.
writes some great lyrics, and I think on this album, and when you hear it, you're gonna know what I'm talking about because it's gonna hit you. It's gonna melt your face.
Well, we're looking
Nice.
forward to it, man. And after the album comes out, after you do all your touring, I mean, we're jumping ahead, of course, but we'll have you back on to talk about all the touring and everything else that you were doing for the album. But where did you guys record this one at?
And Joey's bathroom.
Nice.
Convenient.
Good acoustics in the
No,
bathroom.
really.
I'm kidding.
There's a lot of good reverb in the bathroom.
There is, man.
That's what the Beatles said, yeah.
Yep.
We recorded at a really good studio in the Valley. Bill Montoya was the engineer who actually was the first engineer we had on our EP with Metal Blade Records.
Mm-hmm.
And he recorded that at Track Records and that EP. But he recorded the new album, so it's kind of like coming of around circles.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
also did Show No Mercy, I
Yeah, he
believe,
did
from
a
Slayer.
couple of the very
Haunting
first
the
Slayer
Chapel.
albums, yeah.
Chapel,
Yeah.
I mean, I saw his resume of all the albums he's produced over the years.
There's a lot of them.
A ton of very well-known
yeah.
metal albums.
And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got a great ear. Joey and him have a great ear because I would have played something and they go, okay, you played that. Can you do that again? You were a little flat. And I went, oh, wow, I didn't hear it. But it was there, you know. Then I heard it and I'm like, God, you guys, your ears are amazing.
That's it. It's years of experience.
Seriously.
Yeah, and you know what? Working with even the bandmates, my bandmates and stuff, and everybody around was just, it was like working with a bunch of geniuses.
I'm sure they'll be glad to hear you say that
Of
for sure.
course. and
No, but seriously, everybody like is really like cool and smart, and you know they got the thing together, and it's a good. We're all in a good place,
right.
a really good place.
It sounds
and
like that.
And I saw today, on top of all the other plans that you guys have going on, I just saw today a post that you guys are going to be on that metal show Saturday.
Oh yes, John and Joey are going to do that metal show with Eddie Trunk, and that should be a blast.
Oh,
You
that's
haven't done
awesome.
that show? Yeah.
That is sweet. They shoot that in Brooklyn now, I think. They were shooting it in L.A. for a while, but I think they're shooting it back in Brooklyn. I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's
Yes, they are. It's back in New York.
Okay, because they had Dave Lombardo on last week.
Yeah.
And they I'm sorry, they had Gary Holt. They had Gary Holt, Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC, and I forget the third guy that they had on. That was last week. The week before was Dave Lombardo. And Armored Saint coming up. Oh,
Armored
that's
Saint coming up
awesome.
this week.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and that metal show is starting to grow. You know, it wasn't. It was small at first, but now it's starting to get some pickup. Now I like that.
Yeah, and there wasn't really anything. I mean, you don't have a Headbangers Ball anymore, so you really don't have anything that's
Geared towards metal.
geared
Yeah.
towards metal. They do have Heavy Metal Mania, which is on VH1
Yeah,
Classic.
but that's like hairband
That's the
videos.
old
That's pretty
stuff,
much
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
kind of funny how it used to be MTV. Now you actually get more metal on VH1 Classics.
Yeah,
than-
VH1 Classics. Yeah.
That is funny. That is funny. Yeah.
Now, if rewinding all the way to the beginning, how did the whole premise of how did Armored Saints start? Well, actually, let's start with how'd you get the name? You know,
We
and-
went to see this movie called Excalibur, and we were a little inebriated, needless to say, all of us. And then we walk out of the thing, and then Gonzo goes, "You know what would be cool? Name of the band?" And then we go, "What?" He goes, "Armored Saint."
it's a great
And
name.
we were like, nah. Everybody said no, because I mean, come on, you're kids. So, but then like 2 weeks later, everybody was starting to go, hey, you know, Armored Saint sounds cool and stuff. So he brought it up again,
Right.
and then we were going, yeah, that rocks.
So that was the beginning of it. And what was when you guys first got together? What was the scene like back then? I mean, obviously, now it's a whole nother world. Now you got internet, and it's tough to get a whole scene going now because people would just
MP3s and-
right.
yes.
People would rather watch things on YouTube today. But
YouTube,
back then, I mean, the scene was really just kind of in its infancy. The metal scene back in 1982. What was it like being in that scene?
I'll tell you what, the Troubadour had seats. They had seats to watch the bands, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay. when we came and played, they took the seats out.
Nice.
That's a good
They
sign.
had to.
Yeah.
They had to because headbanging started. First there was headbanging, and then there was the mosh pit because, after all that headbanging, you wanted to do something more. You wanted to run. So that came later, but then the band started getting heavier. But back then, it was a little subdued. We actually made flyers, and John used to work at a storage place, and he used the fax machine and the copy machine with their paper and made Armored Saint flyers, and we would post those flyers all over Hollywood and stuff, and people would come up to us, and we would talk to the fans, and it started growing like that, and people started, posting flyers at grocery stores everywhere, and then that's kind of created a scene, and then it was a flyer war in the middle of Hollywood.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of created a scene. There's no scene now like that. Everybody's got their cell phones and stuff like that.
Right.
But back then it was a little closer. There was. I think metal is a lifestyle.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
it's cool. It's underground, and we kind of want to keep it like that. But it is something that it's formidable. The music's incredible, and I think it's here to live.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And back in that scene, especially in L.A., it's famous for being known for the hair bands, and when Motley was first coming up, and
Right.
Van Halen had just come out of it, making their albums. How did you guys deal with that? Because you weren't a hair band at all.
No.
You had to separate yourselves from that and still gain an audience. How did you? Was that tough for you guys, or it was pretty easy because you were different?
No, it was both. Metallica was playing the Troubadour too, and then was doing gigs with Overkill. No, not Overkill. Sabotage.
Oh yeah.
Just not Sabotage. There was so many names of bands. But it was a little weird, But there was always that metal people that were into UFO. Iron Maiden,
Right.
Judas Priest. There was that, and then there was people that were into other stuff, that was a little more like poppy rock.
Right.
Yeah.
But we were influenced by Judas Priest. We had Jeff was into not Jeff, but Jeff's a big Black Sabbath fan now. Not now, but back then. What I'm trying to say is that it was a little tough, but we broke through it. When we toured with Wasp, Metallica, and Armored Saint, that's kind of the start of this whole thrash, heavy rock, heavy metal stuff thing that kind of threw the country by storm.
Right.
Yeah,
'cause
definitely.
It was brand new.
And that's right. You brought up the Wasp show. That's
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
because I remember seeing, and I was too young to go to the show at the time, but it was at Lemoore. It was Armored Saint, Wasp, and Metallica.
Yeah.
And it was in January of 1985. That's awesome. I mean, aside from the fact that obviously you got to tour with all these bands, you got to obviously meet and play with, or see play Cliff Burton,
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
I mean, those must have been amazing times, because that was when really it was getting legs, it was really
Yeah.
starting to take off, like you said, and the thrash movement really began. And it just had to be incredible times back then.
Oh, it was. I mean, there's no bands like that, like Wasp or Metallica that they're playing in the clubs and stuff. But it was incredible. I mean, I have a Cliff Burton story. He used to carry a hammer.
Really?
When he
Okay.
used to carry a hammer, like a framing hammer, everywhere he went. So nobody messed with him.
Yeah, I would think not.
That's interesting.
He carried it just for the hell of it,
He-
or
what was
just
that, protection?
In case there's
fights?
any issues, I guess.
Yeah, he did.
That's funny.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Did you guys?
Yeah.
Did you guys as a collective back then get a feeling that you guys were on the forefront of something different? Bringing the thrash era, to the forefront and really creating a whole new genre and a new scene, aside from the rock and the pop and the hair bands. I mean, did you guys feel that, or was it just, we're just out playing,
This
having
is what
fun?
we're doing, and come and see us or don't.
No, we felt that Metallica was doing that. We were Armored Saint's not a thrash band.
No,
but
no,
our
but you
metal,
were on that scene,
but,
yeah.
you know, but we saw that Metallica was doing that, and we were like there too because we were signed to Chrysalis Records, which is a major label
Yep.
Yeah.
before Metallica was, and we had Cliff Bernstein as our manager before Metallica did,
Right.
and
right.
then Metallica got Cliff Bernstein, and then it got signed, but it was we were on the cutting edge. We were kind of on the coattails of the people that were doing that, but we were still there, you know. But I wouldn't call Armored Saint thrash band.
No,
No,
definitely
no,
not.
definitely not. But,
But you
it was-
guys are in
hold our
that
own
scene,
we can
though.
hold our own, but we played with Sepultura. You
Oh,
want to
yeah.
hear thrash? Sepultura is thrash. You know what I mean?
Oh,
They-
yeah.
they are.
I mean, yeah. You guys were definitely not thrash, but you were there. You were in the forefront of that scene coming, and you,
Yes,
like you
we
said,
were.
you guys could
Yes,
definitely.
we were there. I mean, we went from playing with Metallica to playing with Whitesnake and Quiet Riot stadiums.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
with the Slide It In tour. I should say that David Coverdale was so cool. He was so nice to us. Every night he would come into our dressing rooms and say hello. How was
Really?
the gig?
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice to
Classy
hear.
guy.
Yeah,
that's
a
it.
lot of people I've actually heard and read other people say the exact same thing, and you can tell that ones that are legit because you'll hear it from all different people.
Right,
like
right.
Phil is telling us now that David Coverdale is a really nice guy, and you can tell that when they take the time, they don't have like that big
Yeah.
rock star ego.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And
No,
he
no.
was, but he didn't have that attitude. He came in and said,
right.
"What's up?" That's really cool to hear that. And
Yeah.
so now you were with Armored Saint for the first two albums.
Yes.
And then you left for a couple of years, and they were just pretty much just one guitarist at that time. When
David Pritchard.
David Pritchard.
Right.
So when you left the band, what led to that departure? Was it just musical differences at that time, or what was going on?
I don't know. I had my dark years, and I think I was going through something. But I'm there's a happy ending,
Hey,
because
yeah.
I rejoined them in '91.
Yep.
We did Symbols of Salvation,
Right.
and God bless David Pritchard. Rest in peace.
yes.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. And it's good. A lot of people go through their dark times.
Oh yeah.
And it's great that you made it to the other side, because a lot of people don't make it to the
No,
other
that's
side.
for sure.
And
That's
you
for
can
sure.
Yeah,
resume.
you got to
and-
bounce back.
Yeah.
It's a journey that I went through, but listen, guys, it's all good.
That's
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
most important thing.
that's the most important thing.
You know,
That
you
is
said
the
you
most
made it
fun.
out
And-
the other end.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on now, clearly there's big plans. Big plans. Who were some of your influences growing up? That got you into playing guitar. Like, who were the guys that, or the artists or the bands or whatever that you looked up to growing up?
The first guy that hit me hard was Jimmy Page.
I've heard that one,
Yeah.
from many people. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Page. Yeah, and then when Eddie and Randy came out, I couldn't believe that that was a guitar that Eddie Van Halen was playing, because it sounded like a synthesizer.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe that sounded better than Jimmy Page. So I was like, no, that's not happening. But
That's
then but then I embraced it. But then Michael Schenker was
yeah.
a big influence.
Yeah.
That's you and
Yeah.
Kirk Hammett. Yeah, Michael Schenker. He's influenced a ton of people. But like you said, even with Eddie Van Halen, Jimmy Page, you hear that a lot because again, especially for Eddie Van Halen, just was doing things with the guitar that really hadn't been
That
seen or
nobody
heard
was doing,
before.
And he said Randy Rhodes.
Randy
that kind
Rhodes, of
stuff.
course.
Yeah, Randy Rhodes. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I met Randy Rhodes. He's a small guy. He was really cool. I actually went to the Starwood. I snuck in a tape recorder and I taped his guitar solo.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
funny.
Yes, on one of those little, tape recorders.
Oh,
and
that's
then
right.
when I heard Blizzard of Oz, I was going, wait a minute. wait, shut the door. That's the riff he did on his solo album. On his solo. And then there's another riff, and then there's another riff. So he had all these riffs already, and then he just combined them to songs in Blizzard of Oz. And I need to find that tape.
Oh, that you
Oh,
do.
that'd be great.
That
you gotta
there's
find
not
that.
a lot of lot of stuff with Randy, obviously, and that's great. I know he was a tiny guy. He was a
Yeah.
real small guy.
And by all accounts too, he was a real nice guy too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah. I
heard
mean,
he was
I've
a very
seen
nice
some.
guy, yeah.
You can find on YouTube now. There are some rare interviews with him, and there's even some sound check footage from Texas in 1982.
I
that
found
I've
it
seen.
funny with the Quiet Riot documentary that just came out on Showtime.
Yeah.
When they were showing old Randy Rhoads.
Oh yeah, back in like
shows.
79,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
1980.
Quiet Riot. I was like, oh shit! I didn't know that there was footage of that.
Yeah, there was, and there was, and like you said, you used to go to like the Starwood. That was kind of the place to be, the Troubadour and the Starwood back then. I mean, everybody from Van Halen, all the artists of the day. I mean, there had to be like not one day of the week in Hollywood that you couldn't go see a band.
Some
It was like
band,
pretty much.
yeah,
So
Right,
this,
right, yeah. The Starwood was cool though too because it had two clubs within a club. It had the rock club, and then it had kind of like a dance club.
Okay.
So like if you didn't like the band, you could go to the dance club and check out all the hot chicks.
even better. That's awesome. That's like set up
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
well.
really.
That's
The
definitely.
only thing that was the problem is that all the hot chicks were dancing with each other. They were not dancing with you.
That's true. Yeah, they
You
weren't.
gotta
They
break
weren't
in there. You just gotta break right in.
Yep.
Just start dancing up and kind of shimmy your way in. Yeah.
Hopefully you don't get pushed
Right,
away.
right,
you know.
Now, you guys, with the album release that's coming up in June, are you gonna? Is there gonna be any songs released prior to June 2nd, or are you just going like nothing's gonna be out before because sometimes you hear bands they'll like release a
pre-release.
song
Pre-release of a
a month or
song,
so
or-
in
yeah.
advance. Are you guys just waiting or holding out until the full release?
No waiting anymore. You know what? Speaking of today Eddie Trunk played Wind Hands Down on his show.
He did. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So that's all right. Awesome. So that's out.
Yeah. So that's out. So you're going to be hearing that song and that just happened today actually.
Awesome.
You see, it would have been, we could have played it too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We do have a.
It
We
would've
do.
been cool.
We do have.
I didn't get a confirmation from anybody, but it would have been cool if we could have done a song, with you guys.
Oh, that's cool. We
Yeah,
got
that's
an
fine.
Armored Saint song coming up anyway. After
Yeah, we
the
do
interview.
after this.
And
do.
we have a special dedication for it when we go into the song.
Oh, even better,
very
even
good.
better.
Yeah,
So
very
now,
nice.
so you got So you got June 2nd is the album release. The tour starts May 12th.
Right,
Through the
April,
3rd.
yeah.
Now you mentioned in the tour. Did I hear you right when you said Gas Monkey in Dallas, Texas? Is that the Gas Monkey from the Fast and Loud guys from that TV show?
I think so. Yes.
I think it is because when
That's
you said
cool.
Gas
From
Monkey,
that-
he owns. Yeah, he
Yeah,
owns.
that big, it's like a big.
Right, he owns like
thing.
a bar and grill
Okay,
in
cool.
Dallas, and when you said that,
It's
I'm
like
like, I
this
think that's
huge
the
place.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
oh my
a
God, bar and
compound.
grill.
It's
I
like
hear. I see a steak in my near future.
oh, absolutely.
definitely.
But you're in Texas. You
it's
have
Oh,
to
you
have
have to
steak.
have
You
a
have
steak.
to.
You're in Texas,
I
man.
love Texas with all that stuff.
You
Man.
have to have
Yes.
a steak and shoot a
That
gun. That's all you can do in Texas.
Absolutely, and it ends at the House of Blues. Is at the House of Blues in L.A. That's where the tour ends.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, that's gonna be
So that
fucking
little
sweet.
tour is going to go from May 12th, and then we'll do 2 gigs. Then we go May 23rd, 24th, San Antonio, Dallas, and then May 29th and 30th, San Jose and LA.
Awesome.
And then the
Yeah,
big
that's-
festivals.
And then the
over
big
in-
festivals, you got
Europe,
Hellfest,
yeah.
Wacken. Oh man, that's gonna be sweet. And what's great about Wacken is they always videotape that stuff, so we'll be able to check that out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
nice.
and that's gonna be really sweet. That's gonna be really sweet. So I mean, what else we got? Like the. I was gonna say, I know it's great. We've been covering all this awesome
this
stuff.
huge base.
You know, the,
Going got the old days in
He
there.
just paused. Oh, wait, what else do we have?
yeah. I'm
We're
like,
gonna keep him on the phone for a while.
yeah. No, I'm like, well, we got like when you guys wrote the first album. Now, was these were songs? That's the one thing you hear from a lot of bands too, and I'm curious if this is the same with you guys, or at least the first 2 albums. When you write the first album, you have a whole shitload of songs because you've been writing them for a while, and then you have extra songs that go on the second album. That's in most cases.
Right.
When you guys did March of the Saint, was those the only songs that you had written? They all went on the album, or did you already have songs written that were going to end up going on the follow-up, Delirious Nomad in 1985? Or, how many songs did you have initially when you started recording?
I think we had like maybe like 15.
So you guys you had a good catalog already at that point.
Catalog already.
Yeah, we had like 50 songs, and we got signed in 52 gigs. I actually counted the gigs.
Wow.
We played 52 gigs, and on the 52nd gig, we got signed to Chrysalis Records.
Nice.
No, so there was a guy, or there was an A&R rep from Chrysalis down to check you guys out. Did it when that happened? Did it happen quick? Like, was it like you did the show, he checked it out, and he approached you right after the show, or how did that whole process work?
we got a manager first, Q Prime Management,
Okay.
and Ron Fair, who happens to be a major producer now. He does the Black Eyed Peas. He does just a lot of like pop now. But he actually got the ball rolling for us on Chrysalis Records, and now he's a huge producer. But that's how it happened with Cliff Bernstein. We got a management, and then I think they were invited to one of our gigs. I think it was the Troubadour, and then like the next gig after that, we were signed.
Wow.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's great.
You can tell it's a whole different era back
It really
Yeah.
is. It really
Yeah.
is. But you know what? That was the great thing that I loved about that era was, the cream rose to the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have bands. Anybody could release anything, and there's a whole lot of noise out
Noise,
there.
yeah.
And when I say noise, I
Yeah.
mean just a lot of shit
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of great bands that are in there, but they never get heard because there's too much crap. Back then, you'd work for it. You would play the shows.
Yeah.
You'd get your management. You would get the word out there, and if you were good, then you'd get signed.
And like you said, reps would come and see
Right,
people at
right.
the shows, and then they'd say, "Okay, these guys are good, and these guys, I'm
Right.
gonna pass on these guys or whatever." So
Well, that's it. Now, when you guys got signed, how long was it between that point and that, and when you went into the studio? My guess is it was probably a pretty short amount of time between the two.
Yeah, it was like maybe like 6-9 months, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
something like that. Less than a year, and then yeah. We could have picked a different producer. I mean, it's all good. But yeah, looking back, we were young. We made some mistakes in choices and stuff. But now we know. It's all a happy ending. I have to say.
Of course.
And it
Definitely.
culminates
Definitely.
with what this new album's going to be.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it. This is and definitely when it comes out and you guys do your touring and you finish, hopefully we can get you again on the show between the festivals and before like big touring starts.
Yeah.
For the album itself. We would love to.
Okay.
We'd
That sounds
love to
good.
have you
that'd be
back
great
on.
to come back. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'll message you. How I've been messaging you back and forth. So I'll send you a message, see when you're free, and we can definitely work out a schedule.
Nice.
Yeah, but before we let you go, what would you like to plug? Any websites or any Facebook stuff or whatever web addresses or anything you want to throw out there? Go right ahead.
Okay, I want to plug Armored Saint website on Facebook. You get all the information there. When
Awesome.
the album comes out, don't just buy it, but get your friend to buy it too.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Don't buy it.
Buy it. Don't
spend the
download
money.
it.
Don't be a
Buy it.
cheap ass.
Don't
buy.
download the one song that's going to cost you 99 cents at iTunes. Nah, don't do it. The album cover, the notes, the lyrics.
That's right.
Right.
Like when we used to buy albums and go and check out the album and you look at it.
Oh,
and then
hell yeah.
You're listening to the songs and you're reading what the lyrics are. And
Hell
who
yeah.
wrote what and this and this and that. The producer and this. People. This album is like that.
Yes.
The
And
whole, the whole kit and caboodle.
that's
You're
what.
gonna get it all on this album.
Awesome. So we got Armored Saint on Facebook. Any other websites you want to throw out there?
I want to thank ESP Guitars,
Cool.
Randall Amps,
Cool.
and all our Armored Saint fans around the world. Thanks for your support.
Nice.
We love you.
Very nice.
And I will say to all the Armored Saint fans, and just getting together with Phillip on Facebook, he's been nothing but cool. He responds to the fans.
Yeah.
Responds
Yeah.
to people. He doesn't know me from the hole in the wall. I messaged him. He responded back. Phil, you've been nothing but a cool guy throughout this whole process. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
it.
so much.
You've been down to earth, man.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, and you know what? If we can get Brian, do you want to get a radio ID from?
Oh, would you be willing to do a radio ID for us?
Sure.
Okay.
It could be real simple. Just be like,
This
your
is
name, and
Phil
you're
from
listening to
Armored
Metal
Saint and
Thunder
you're listening to
Radio.
Metal
Yeah.
Thunder Radio. Yeah. Anytime you're ready.
All right. Ready. Hello, this is Phillip Sandoval from Armored Saint. You're listening to Heavy Metal Thunder Radio.
Awesome.
Great.
Very cool. Thank you.
Perfect.
We can cut that, and we're good to go. We'll be
Yes,
able to
that's
put that
it.
in future shows and stuff.
Awesome.
Phil, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I
Yes,
really
thank you
appreciate
for
you
this.
taking the time to be here with us. And, very much appreciate it.
And before we go, we're going to go into Warzone, which we would like to dedicate to Fernanda Reyes.
Fernando
Right on.
Reyes.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
no
great.
problem. Yeah,
Okay.
Fernando Reyes. Wars coming up. We're playing Warzone just for you.
Awesome. And thanks again, Phil. You
Thank
have a
you,
great
Phil.
night.
Thank you, guys. You guys rock.
You rock.
You rock, bro. Thanks, man.
All right, bro.
Right on. Bye-bye.